What's up, FANVERSATION? Kari Lane here. Let's talk solo leveling. Joining me now is the English ADR director, Caitlin Glass, and voice actor Alex Lee, who plays Genu. You both are no strangers to the world of anime, but was there anything that surprised you with solo leveling? We'll start with Caitlin.
Okay. I think the biggest surprise to me, I don't know why it's a surprise because I read the source material and then by the nature of the title, solo leveling, the idea that we're going to spend a lot of time with this one dude. Um, like I knew that, but until we really started doing it, it didn't sink in oh no, it's just me and this guy like for the next however long this show lasts.
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
Yeah. And I'm so glad. But that was the biggest surprise, but a pleasant one because oftentimes, there are a lot of expectations on the actor to kind of just understand how the character is going to jump from the way he is to the next thing he or she is, etc. And you kind of fill in the blanks for them along the way, and that's how you progress through the story. But because this story is truly mainly just about Chinu, we spend the majority of our time with him and feel all of those things. We get to go through the motions with him. There's a lot fewer jumps from one stage of the game to another. And that's been so refreshing. And we're only a handful of the episodes in. So I look forward to the rest of the journey.
For me, what surprised me about this was the presentation. I was always aware of solo leveling as a series, and when I heard it was getting an anime, I was a little bit nervous. Even before I was involved in the show, I was like, I know where this story goes, and I hope that they're able to pull it off somehow. There's always the fear with a lot of big shows like this that they're gonna screw up either in animation or something just because it's the scale is so large. It's such a grand show, but I was pleasantly surprised to find out that A1 Pictures, an incredible studio who I really, really admire, was taking on the project, and they gave this project everything. The presentation is phenomenal. The animation is mind blowing. They do not hold back on the gore, the blood. The monsters are beautifully drawn. I just loved everything about it, and the music, oh my god, Sawano-san did such an incredible job, bringing another iconic composition to the show. So, for me, it was like, this in theory should work, but there's so many ways it could go wrong. But once I actually saw it, I was like, I am whew, you know? I was like, "This is amazing for sure."
Definitely does not disappoint. And kind of continuing on that, were there any particular challenges working on this project and how did you overcome them? Caitlin?
Hmm. Um, I think we have some technical challenges. That's the main one. I'm in Dallas and Alex is in Los Angeles, and sometimes we are blessed with his presence and get to work in person, which is wonderful, especially on the really difficult episodes. And there've been a couple of those emotionally difficult because I know we're speaking about what the challenges are. So when you're working remotely, you're at the mercy of the internet and
Technology,
and
yeah.
technology. So but we have a lot of patience and we have wonderful engineers on both sides of things helping us out there. But there are times where the internet just can't keep up with the speed of the fantastic animation that Alex has already spoken to. And so sometimes I'm just there with my phone, like shooting videos of little clips and texting them to him so that he can see exactly how fluid this is, so he can hear the places where the line he just delivered isn't fitting because the internet doesn't want to cooperate with us that day. So that's one challenge.
Hmm.
Mhm. And a challenge from a performer's side is that this is obviously a role that has a lot of eyes on it. And I used to be very anxious and nervous about these sort of huge roles, but for this one, I was particularly excited to dive into this character and this world. So for me, the challenge wasn't so much taking on the uh, the role, but it was more so once I got it, it was like, now, how do I effectively communicate what I want to communicate? Not in terms of just performance, but in terms of the feeling of the scene and everything that surrounds it. And one limitation I do have as a human being is the state of my voice. And I've been very careful to pick out days, and I've been grateful that Caitlin and everybody at Crunchyroll have been very uh, nice to me about is letting me pick days where I'm most comfortable and where I feel the healthiest to perform, because this show is not only mentally, it is physically demanding. So I'm glad that we are able to allocate the proper amount of time to make sure that we get everything we want to the fullest of my ability. So I'm not coming in like half dead and being like, let's record me dying for real, you know?
I don't know if that kind of works. It sounds like you're dying there. But yeah, that's true. Now, also speaking on movement, Alex, how much movement do you as an actor like to do in the booth? Because your character is very becomes even more physical. So one, how much movement do you do in the booth? And two, he kind of gets a little glow up. And did you change your voice from our soft boy to our hello abs?
Well, the funny thing is that you know, I used to be so self-aware and so like self-conscious of how I move in the booth, but I felt that the more I started to think about it, the worse it got for me in terms of how embarrassing it was. So now I just don't think about it. I don't even pretend it exists. I know Caitlin has seen me do some wild things in there. She's seen me like hold my own throat and go like and she's seen me like throw my body around, even though it's not all entirely too necessary sometimes, but I do it to get into the motion of delivering the line. So I get very physical in the booth. And I'm very lucky that Jamal, our incredible engineer, hasn't told me, hey, man, you got to stay on the microphone yet. But I feel like that might happen eventually. And as for the glow up, it's funny because it was a bit more of a comfortable voice for me because it was just me when I, am relaxed and confident and just normal. For Chinu, when he was younger, or not younger, when he was in his earlier stages, I chose to kind of go back in my life and use a younger voice from when I was younger. So it was kind of hard to keep a level on where we should be for the character, but Caitlin was there to guide me through that process. And once we got to his kind of glow up that we see in episode 5, I was like, phew, I can now speak normally once again.
Nice. I mean, we do love a soft boy protagonist, but I'm excited. We're all excited to see where this character continues to grow. Now, if you were a hunter and explorer of all these crazy realms, what kind of hunter do you think you would be and why? Caitlin.
Um, in stories like this, where there's a group of friends, whether it is an RPG type story or whatever, I'm always drawn to the big, loud character, whoever's the biggest and loudest and does the most damage. I really don't know why that is. I'm not like that at all in real life. But if this ever became part of my real life, I think it would be fun to just be a tank who just slams into places and, you know, doesn't, yeah, doesn't care and just throws themselves at the enemy. Just maybe maybe it's because in my real life everything that I do has to be so meticulous, especially in this job in particular. So much planning is required, and I would love the freedom to not have to worry about that and just be told, you with weapon go at that thing. Yes, got it. Okay. That's it.
Nice. Alex, what about you?
I This is one thing I'm not too sure on yet, but if I was a healer and I could heal myself, that is what I would do. No
Mm.
more going to the doctors, no more medical bills, I can set up my own little lemonade stand clinic in my neighborhood, cure one of their diseases, just be like, "Phew," and then boom, you're cured. And then anytime I fall, no more scraped knees. I can just heal that myself. And who knows? Maybe I can expand into further opportunities, like I don't know, going on stage and cutting my arm off, like a magician show, and then being like, "Watch this! I'm making it grow back." How cool is that?
It's a whole new profession. I dig it.
Right? You
Yes.
got to think about how to make money in this world
Yes.
sometimes if the odds are stacked against you.
Yes. Now, are there any fun behind the scenes stories that you haven't had a chance to share yet?
Ooh, that is a good question. We are pretty locked in when we record these episodes because they've been so um, emotionally draining, isn't the
Mm,
right word, but emotionally, it requires us to be very present.
mm.
So it's we've been super focused and less fart jokes than ever. None at all, in fact. But
I have kind of a fun story.
oh
We were
yeah,
we were getting ready to work on episode 4, and Alex came to town, and he was here for a whole week, and we really picked and chose very specifically which days we were going to do certain aspects of the episode. And any voice actor will tell you there is this magic syrup made from loquats. It's called Ninjam Peipakoa, and you can get it at most like Chinese grocery stores. And it is a necessity if you're going to be doing a lot of screaming and yelling. And we couldn't find any in the building. It was like it did not exist. And we've been looking for it kind of all week. And Alex was supposed to go get some, and he
yeah.
didn't. And I was texting him before he was arriving for a session. Did you go get the stuff? He's like, I'm like, okay. So at lunch, I made a trip to our nearest grocery store, grabbed a whole pallet of it.
Oh, I've never seen more. We made a pyramid out of it.
We've stacked up a pyramid. We took a lot of pictures, and then we distributed them amongst the 12 studios here, and then kept one just for Alex, and it says Alex only, Sharpie on it, because he was just drinking it straight
I
from the
was I
bottle.
you know, you're supposed to mix it in like 1 teaspoon with water and that's
Yeah.
it. And I was like, nope, gulping
Glug,
this
glug,
whole
glug,
thing
glug.
down. Yeah. So that was a fun memory for sure.
Nice. Well, that just feels like such a great above and beyond thing for you to do, Caitlin. I'm like, that's awesome. Care so much about your actors. Is there anything that you feel that people don't really know or understand about being an ADR director?
Oh, I think there's a lot that they don't know about because it's such a weird and specific job that makes it kind of hard to elaborate in brief on what all we do. I think the most important things that I hold in my heart that I want to provide is obviously maintain the integrity of the product when it came to me in Japanese, so that your experience as an English language viewer is the same as if you were watching it in Japanese. That's thing one. And then thing two is I want to provide a safe environment for my actors to work in. Safe, of course, you're not going to hurt your voice and all of those things, but a place where you feel safe to go to all of the vulnerable spaces that are required to truly bring a character to life. So I'm always thinking about those things. What can I do to prove to this person who's maybe known me for years or has only known me for a few weeks, that I'm here for them, I am there for them. It's like I need to let them know I'm here to make sure that what we put out is the best you can sound, so that you don't have to think about that. And all you have to think about is being the best, Sung Jinu that you can be. And trust me to do that, and watch over the end product, I suppose, and you just do that, the being part. And I just always want my space to feel safe and welcoming in that way, and I hope that it does.
It does.
Thanks.
Then,
Yeah.
well, that is good to hear. And now, Alex, for you as an actor, this show has some dark, dark stuff and violence and just intense. So obviously, you are an actor, you were performing, but you still have to go places in a way. How do you kind of wash that off and leave that in the booth?
I don't. I take it with me everywhere I go. Well, that is a joke answer. There is some truth to it where I feel like as human beings, the traumas that we face shape us. And no matter how healed we are, there will always be a scar and we'll always carry that memory with us. So for me, when I approached this role, there were a lot of imperfect things about Sang Jinu that I felt that I resonated with and was able to draw back on. And so it wasn't necessarily summoning an emotion that isn't common in my life. It was more channeling something that I was familiar with that I had at the ready because I'm so fortunate for everything that I have now, but everything that I've had up till this point, I've built with my own hands. So I know what it's like to have to fight for everything that you think you deserve or to feel this sense of bitterness at the world when it seems that everybody else has things much easier, or they don't have to fight the same battles as you do. So, as somebody who's been on that journey, those things are always at the back of my mind, even when I decide to better myself by tucking them away. Deep down, there's still slivers of that that slips out. So, it's not necessarily that I'm washing it off. It's that when I perform it in the booth, I it's like a form of therapy. I get to let it come out a little bit. And once that comes out, uh nothing feels different. It just feels familiar, and it feels like I've just ranted to a friend and now I feel better. So for me, it's like I don't go home and go, "Oh, that was tough." For me, I go home and I go, "Wow, and that felt nice. I probably won't need to scream my head off for the next couple of days." So, if any of that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for both of you talking with me about this show, and it is super exciting. We're all excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been great talking to you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to continue the solo leveling discussion, go check out our playlist Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, where we're currently covering the show.